we are in a national cyber crisis. Our electronic voting machines are essentially one big black box. We would never know what is inside a Dominion voting machine if not for a brave 68-year-old Gold Star mom named Tina Peters, who had a duty as the election clerk in Mesa, Colorado, to preserve the election records. When she believed they were coming to destroy the records, she imaged a hard drive for the whole world to learn the truth. Now she faces 20 years. Her trial starts next week. Elon, this is a personal appeal to you. Your technology expertise can be the deciding factor here. Please reach out. Everyone watching this, let's unleash the power of X to save Tina Peters.
Good evening. I'm Ann Vandersteel, and welcome to Steel News. You are now entering the war zone. You know, the mere fact that Tina Peters is a Gold Star mom should make her a household name. Tina is also a cancer survivor, which has deeply influenced her commitment to service. These two events have actually shaped her future, and she has leveraged her loss into saving the American Republic. Through her passion for election integrity, she ran and was overwhelmingly elected as the Mesa County Clerk and Recorder, known to all as a dedicated public servant. Her career in election administration spanned several years, during which she oversaw numerous elections, including the 2020 presidential election. As the elected Mesa County Clerk in Colorado, Tina did make backups of her county's Dominion voting server, only to stumble across evidence of manipulation in recent local city council elections, as well as the 2020 general election. Clerk Peters' discoveries ignited a chain reaction, upending her life and leading to costly legal battles and personal attacks aimed at her character. After multiple postponements, her trial is set to begin on July 29th, 2024, and will be open to the public starting July 31st. Peters faces multiple felony charges, including tampering with election equipment and identity theft, and if convicted, she could face substantial legal penalties, including fines and up to 20 years in prison. The Supreme Court this past Monday turned down a request from a former Colorado County Clerk, Tina Peters, to halt her upcoming trial. Joining me now here on the show this evening is Tina Peters. Tina, it's great to see you, my friend. You are facing some incredible battles right now.
Thank you, Ann. You know, I always say what God leads you to, he'll see you through. So I really appreciate the supporters and getting the word out and prayer and all the support that I have received. But what they want to do, Ann, and you know this, they want to silence the American people. They've tried to do it with Donald Trump. They've tried to do it with me to keep people from knowing the truth about these voting machines. And so they want to send a chilling effect by putting me in prison for 20 years, which would be the rest of my life, that do not talk about it or we will come after you. And so we have to stand. We have to stand. And thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. You're so spot on, Tina, because, you know, they've used multiple vectors. This General Flynn has written a book on, you know, 5th generation warfare. They've used multiple vectors to basically kettle the American fish, the MAGA fish, into one funnel, and that's global governance. And because we have the Second Amendment, and because we still have people like yourself that are standing and fighting for what's right, when you see grievous crimes against the people of Colorado that led to, you know, the cascading events that we have today with the Joe Biden, now Kamala Harris presidency. I can't even believe I just said that. I mean, literally, I can't believe I just said that. But again, it's all based on theft. You have now pled guilty to 10 state charges, including several felony counts. You're looking at 20 years. And from my understanding, the local press in Grand Junction, Colorado, where the trial is being held in Mesa County, they've actually run over 700 articles against you above the fold of the newspaper. 700. Don't you think that's really kind of considered tampering with the jury pool? And shouldn't you be afforded a change of venue at this point?
That's right. Well, and that's still on the table, but I have pled not guilty because I'm not guilty of anything except for preserving my constituents' election records. But you're right. So it was interesting in the court hearing this past week, the pretrial conference, the DA and the prosecution, who, by the way, the prosecution is are the attorneys. They're the deputy attorney general of Colorado attorneys, Rob Shapiro and Janet Drake, that the DA, Dan Rubenstein, swore in as prosecutors on this case. They also happen to protect and serve the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, and the governor, Jared Polis, as the attorney general deputies illegally. So it's obvious, and this has been Merrick Garland from the very beginning. This has been John Polos, the CEO of Dominion, that came in while I was whisked away to Texas to protect me, and my hotel room was broken into, physically broken into. John Polos, in the meantime, visited a little Mesa County, Colorado town of Grand Junction, and had the commissioners extend the contract for Dominion for 6 more years. So, and we're not talking about Democrats and Republicans here, because the commissioners are so-called Republicans. The DA, Never Trumper DA, is so-called Republican, because these people realized that back then you couldn't get elected in Mesa County unless you had the title Republican. But this is surely not what the Republican values are. Prosecuting an innocent person that brought the evidence of a crime, and to them, not only once, not only twice, but 3 times, with Mesa County report, cyber report number 1 in September of 2021, and 2 and 3 in March. And I was indicted on this bogus 10-count felony indictment for influencing a public servant, for stealing someone's identity. You notice how carefully they convinced a one-sided a grand jury, because they would not allow us to come in and tell our side of the story. So they convinced a grand jury that I was guilty of influencing this same person that's in there and deleting 29,000 election records that belong to the people of Mesa County, the constituents who elected me.
Okay, you've been charged with a lot of things. Right now, currently, you're at home. Your disposition is you're at home and you're wearing an ankle bracelet. And you're wearing an ankle bracelet because, again, you were falsely accused of recording a hearing in court. And they refused to review the contents of your iPad, from what I understand. Now they know those charges are false, yet you still are now wearing an ankle bracelet, being basically treated like a criminal in your own home at this point. Where does the corruption begin and where does it end?
That's right. And here's the interesting thing about it. I kept telling my attorney, so this iPad fiasco was, I was sitting in the gallery supporting my former chief deputy in her hearing, which was another bogus charge against her, which caused her to flip on me to protect herself. You never know what people are going to do when they're faced with fear. And unfortunately, I've had people, go to where they think is safety, but you can't compromise with the devil. And I had told her and all the others, do not just tell the truth. We would have to lie to give them what they want. But here I am in the courtroom as a spectator in the gallery. The hearing was on WebEx. So it was a public hearing that anyone that was on WebEx could have recorded if they had wanted to. And the DA jumps up in the middle of her hearing and goes to the bench and tells the judge, I'm recording the hearing. And the judge asked me, he says, are you recording? And I said, no, Your Honor, this is a work day for me. They ended up the next day delaying a commissioner's hearing. When they saw me walk in, now these are the same 3 commissioners that extended the Dominion contract for 6 more years. It was due to expire in a few months. And I had already arranged to not renew that contract. And jumps up, does all these shenanigans, interrupts her hearing. The next day, I'm in the commissioner's hearing, me and some supporters that are going in and to voice to our redress of grievances against what's going on in Mesa County as citizens. They see that I have that iPad in my purse. They stop the hearing. These commissioners stopped the hearing for 22 minutes while they send my predecessor, who was actually part of a recall for me because her successor, and this is the woman that actually brought Dominion into Mesa County in Grand Junction, Colorado, back when, did the pilot program for Dominion, goes and gets a search warrant, come back. We're wondering, why did they delay this thing? Why did they stop this public meeting? It was to get a search warrant for me. The commissioner leans down during that time and says she won't want to come back here after this. The other commissioner says sacrificial lamb. We walk out of there unsuspecting what's getting ready to happen next. Walk a block away, me and some supporters, we're sitting in a coffee shop. They descend, the DA investigators and the police descend on that coffee shop with a search warrant, try to grab my purse. I grab it back. I don't know what's going on. And they found me guilty for obstruction of government operations and contempt for lying to a judge. So I'm telling my attorney at the hearing, just open the iPad, show them there's nothing on it. I was found guilty. That's why I'm wearing an ankle bracelet, because they want to show that I was a criminal before. They want to tamper with the jury. They want to show that I was already a criminal. Here I am. I don't even have a parking ticket or a speeding ticket. Lived a quiet life for 35 years before they stole my husband from me, had him sign a divorce decree in a nursing home. I found out a month before I would have been married 35 years, and then the DA actually said to my attorney that was trying to help me, our state attorney, don't help her. She's under investigation. I mean, the persecution and prosecution, and you're right, 700 above the fold articles, 700 plus above the fold articles, front page, have come out against me in the small town of Mesa County. But guess what? At the hearing just this past week, the DA brings up how I'm jury tampering because someone with I haven't even seen the billboard yet. Somebody with some organization put up about jury nullification. I didn't even know what that was. It means the jurors can actually, if they're above the law, really,
Right.
they can, and you can talk about that. You probably know more about it, but that, and because there was that billboard, and Mike Lindell and Joe Altman were in Mesa County, which I didn't even know, on the 12th of July, doing an event. They talked about me. I was in Mesa County. I wasn't invited. I didn't even know what was going on until after. And so they pointed to those two things and accused us of jury tampering. It's like clown world, Ann. Clown world.
It is clown world. But what isn't clown world is, data don't lie, as they say. The data don't lie. And, I have a couple of questions along that line, because this is stuff that keeps coming back up. The EAS, right? Or the EAC, the Election Assistance Commission. They're supposed to certify these machines. And it's my understanding, and it's not just Colorado, but Arizona, everywhere, these machines have not been certified properly. And there is some, in my understanding, also some question about the certification process, that perhaps some of these machines are actually being certified by countries outside the US, like up in Canada, which to me, that seems somewhat of a, I don't know, fox guarding the hen house problem. I mean, shouldn't all this stuff be in the domain of the United States, number one? Number two, were the Dominion machines certified properly and operating when you actually made copies of the information on there for safekeeping, because it was clearly there was something afoot at this time during the 2020 election.
Yes. We were told as clerks, we were told that these machines were air gapped, that they could not connect to the internet. Now, what they're telling the clerks are make sure your Wi-Fi is turned off. What? Because we've outed them for their lies. These machines, according to law, cannot connect to the internet, nor can they have the capability. That's what the election rule says. But John Polis, the CEO of Dominion, has lied under oath, talking about these machines cannot be connected to the internet. And now they're telling us, just make sure they're turned off. We do not have access to the BIOS passwords. They took that over. I didn't know that. I didn't know.
In other words, you can't access those modems to turn them off.
I don't know what they're doing now, but back then I found out that they have a backdoor into, when I say they, I'm talking about the Colorado Secretary of State and other states, I'm sure, and Dominion voting systems. I mean, we've seen evidence and emails from Serbia, Dominion employees that are. I mean, Dominion is a state actor, and why do we have foreign nationals that obviously are not supposed to be involved in American elections, involved with a vendor? And that information has to come out. I mean, people need to know.
So getting back to the data, interestingly enough, the video I played in the open of the show this evening has a plea to Elon Musk asking for his assistance. We all know that Elon is very involved in Silicon Valley. He's a tech guru. He tweeted out, because apparently he saw the request, and he actually tweeted out replying to Behezy and Yehuda, who tweeted out that video, asking for help. And he said, I'm not sure how to help. Well, it looks like at this point of the recording for this show, he's already had 784 replies, giving him some advice. What is your takeaway from the overwhelming advice that he's receiving right now on the X platform? And how do you think he can be of service, Tina?
With the, the Supreme Court justices obviously are not doing anything here. And it's up to the American people to make their voice heard. I can't even believe that SCOTUS isn't involved in this. This is the theft of our elections. And, not just in America. And there's 71 countries around the world that have been influenced allegedly by these voting machines. We know that from the Philippines. We know that from Venezuela. We know that from Brazil. We know this is happening. And why isn't SCOTUS becoming involved? So I do believe that Elon Musk is a very, very important person here, because he has the capability. I can't think of anybody smarter than these engineers and these people that he has, on board, that can just look at the hard drive. Now the images that I preserved are on Frank Speech. People can go there for themselves. They're there for the public. Also, they can go to my website, thetinapeters.us, and see that you see on the screen there, and see the reports. The reports have never been debunked. As a matter of fact, the DA, when the third report came out that showed how they actually manipulated the votes, got Dominion and the Secretary of State to explain how report number 3 could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so ridiculous. And so on the website, there's an answer to that. But Elon Musk could get his engineers to look at it, and see what's going on, how they're able to. Mark Cook is a great one. He has the image on his computer and is able to show publicly, and has done so many times, how just switching 2 integers, you can flip the vote. So,
yeah.
And what we've shown is anybody with a cell phone, that's how easy. There is no protection on these machines, Ann.
No, no, there isn't. And, Ivan Raiklin has been calling himself the Secretary of Retribution. And he's also been asking for Elon Musk to provide the direct messages between various members of our government. I mean, frankly, this should be all under the Freedom of Information Act request. And he could provide a mother of all Twitter files by just
Mhm.
releasing the DMs between members of Congress, the Senate, and just about anybody. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that the corrupt Jenna Griswold has direct messages with whoever, because they've used multiple platforms in order to communicate with one another to try and stay out of FOIA requests, right? By not using government servers to communicate. If you had a guess, Tina, and this is a guess, and maybe I won't make it your guess, maybe you've talked to other people who have a hypothesis. What would your hypothesis be in terms of why they're coming at you so hard and who is behind, the attacks on Tina Peters, the clerk of the court? Who is it? Who is the clerk of Mesa County? Who is responsible for all of this? Is it Dominion? Is it people above Dominion? Is it just Jenna Griswold? I mean, what are other people saying that are, talking to you? I don't want to lay it at your feet.
Well, Merrick Garland was on a Zoom call while I was being protected with 24/7 armed security when all this broke. Merrick Garland was on that Zoom call. So was CNN when good patriots, cyber people were in there trying to explain to the commissioners the crimes that have been committed by Jenna Griswold. So Merrick Garland's been involved in this. Think about this. They have to come after me to silence me, to put a chilling effect on anyone that would ever question these machines or the election process and systems. And just like they've done with the J6ers, right? Just like they've tried to come against them, to put them in prison, to keep Americans from standing up to redress their grievances against this government. Well, how did these people get into power, Ann? That's what people need to understand. Do you really think that the American people, showing from the outpouring for our beloved President Donald J. Trump, elected people that would do the devastating things that have been done to our country, that would allow criminals to come in, rape women with 5 children that are out on a jog, that would do all these horrific crimes, that would human traffic and with these babies and the fentanyl and all these things that are meant to tear our country apart and tear it down as a world power, to infiltrate our military. This is coming down from people, in my opinion, from what I know and our investigations, that have been selected, not elected. And that's why that movie that was done back in 2022, Selection Code, is so important for people to understand. This is why they have to silence my voice. But you know what? The people out there, Ann, like you and the citizen journalists that were there when Trump was shot, and with their cell phones, and they didn't run away like what I would imagine the 6 people at a Biden rally would have done, screaming. They stayed. They made sure that our president was okay, and then they started looking for who is responsible for this. And those are my heroes, the people like Elon Musk that would come out and say, we need to look into this. I'm going to use my platform to get the word out and get more information. I'm going to contact some of these people. I'm going to look at these reports. I'm going to give them to my engineers and say, what is there something to this? That's all I did, Ann. When the citizens came to me and they said, Clerk Peters, please look into this. Clerk Peters, can I meet with you? Clerk Peters, we're concerned. And in the beginning, I was like, no. Donald Trump won here. I think we're good. We're the gold standard, I was told by Jenna Griswold's office. So in answer to your question, this goes up to the highest degree globally. These are people that want to take down America. And until we expose the crimes committed using these voting machines, until we expose the crimes by in these electronic voting registration databases. When I ran for Secretary of State, they indicted me. The reason I ran for Secretary of State is because I said, just like I said when I ran for clerk, and then my son died while I was on the campaign trail. I won as clerk. I won as the Republican choice for Secretary of State. They used the machines to steal the election. the point of it is, and I love Mike Lindell because he said, Tina, if you win, he says, that's great. But if you don't, that's even better because it'll expose more of their fraud. We saw him flipping votes on election night during the primary for my race. I raised more in 4 months than my other two supposed Republican competitors combined. I was 47% up in the polls. So, until we understand that this country is being run by non-elected but selected politicians, this country is not going to be saved, and Elon Musk can help.
Amen to that. And I think, Elon Musk, if anybody is really coming on the scene strongly at this point, it is him. He's donating $45 million a month to President Trump's campaign to make sure that he gets across the finish line. And, I think what Mike Lindell said is actually quite interesting, because the more we allow them to get away with it, or I shouldn't say we allow them, but the more they just go ahead and openly steal, grand theft auto of elections right in broad daylight, they become emboldened. And look, they took a shot to try to kill him in broad daylight. It's been alleged there's been multiple attempts on President Trump's life, but we've never seen it in broad daylight. We've seen it in broad daylight. They are literally flogging you publicly in broad daylight, and they are covering their crimes up in broad daylight because they feel that they are basically able to operate without impunity. Merrick Garland is responsible for a lot of evil. Pete Santilli's done some incredible reporting on this, as a matter of fact, and there is boxes and boxes of evidence of Merrick Garland's cover-up of Whitewater and a whole bunch more that is coming down the pike. Of course, we all know our friends at the CIA are deeply complicit. So all of these issues that we're talking about today, they're all intertwined in a corrupt criminal, what I call an international RICO syndicate of governments trying to move towards global governance. And fighters like you are in the way, just like America and her Second Amendment free loving citizens are in the way. They don't want us. They want the whole world, and we are just in the way. So they're going to continue to attack us. In terms of what you need now going forward, I have your Give, Send, Go up. I know you've this attorneys, and you've got a great attorney, Stephanie Lambert, but these people don't work for free. In fact, we all have to survive. So you have a Give, Send, Go. I'd like to share that with people so that people know that they can come and support what you're doing. What else do you need from the people right now?
I need them to show up. I need them to be visible, to make their voice heard, to show their support, reach out to Elon. And let me just make a correction. I don't have Stephanie Lambert, but a lot of what she has, as far as, my attorneys that will be in court, a lot of what she has exposed as her duty, she's been persecuted for. But by giving it over to someone that could prosecute, Sheriff Darleaf. And that's what we need to do. There needs to be law enforcement that stand up and say, you know what, I'm not going to, it's like the doctrine of the lesser magistrates, right? If someone above you is doing something illegal, something you don't agree with, don't worry about your job. God will provide for you and your family. You stand up and you do the right thing. A lot of times we've heard people say, Ann, right? Oh, I was just doing my job. And what they've done with the Secret Service, with the FBI, with the CIA, or, all these other agencies, they've kept it's the hierarchy that's sending these things down. And just like the FBI, when they raided my office and raided my home in a pre-dawn raid, and for 6 hours we're in there tossing stuff around, my dead son's effects on the floor of my garage, a box I had not even opened since his death. It had graphic pictures of his body after he hit the water doing 170 miles per hour. Just, this is the stuff. But these people, they'll tell you, I'm just doing my job. Stop it. Stop it. You are not just doing your job. Open your eyes to see, because here's the thing. You will be held accountable. This is your time on this earth. And everyone is on this earth for a time, and you will be judged by what you do. The judges, the DAs, the attorneys, all these people, and God help you if you don't come forward. I believe, Ann, this is the year of the whistleblower. And yes, people can help me, and my stand for freedom, my stand on these. I could have backed down, and I had people come to me. I had Jenna Griswold that said that if I would agree to this 10-page memorandum, that I would retract and recant and repudiate what I said on Facebook Live, that these machines need to be more transparent to the people and all this stuff, and this 10-page egregious thing that she knew I wasn't going to sign. She took it to a judge and had me removed from election. She's an elected official. I was an elected official. One elected official can't remove another, but
That's right.
one elected official can persuade a judge that someone else is guilty, and without any kind of redress of my grievances, I was taken out of being because they knew, Ann, there was more, and they were afraid. So to help me, go to my website, go to freetina.com. That's another patriot group that has put out when the trial dates are and how to help. I think they're doing a benefit or something like that on a Sunday before so the 31st is jury selection. The 1st will be opening arguments. Sheriff Mack will be there. There'll be other people there from what I'm hearing for that. And then the 3rd, the trial starts, and the 1st and 2nd. 3rd and 4th is the weekend. There'll be an event on the 4th. The 5th starts out, 5th through the 10th, in the meat of the trial, and then the 12th should be done. Then we'll see. There's a lot that's going to be revealed if the judge lets it out.
Again, you can't stop what witnesses want to say and testify to. There's nothing you can do about that. So, that's going to be, it's what people want to say is what people want to say. But what I'm suggesting, and what I would hope you would agree to, is that you get as many people there with signs and support. And frankly, my plea to anybody watching this is to share this with anybody back in Mesa County, Colorado. Ask them to see Selection Code, the movie. Ask them to go and look at Tina Peters' body of evidence on her Twitter, on her X page. Because again, the data don't lie. It never lies. Data is data. It's the facts are the facts. And when you try and going delete data, that tells me that you have something that you're trying to hide. So that's Tina Peters, you are a warrior. You're a warrior Gold Star mom. Thank you for the service to our country. I would have to say, I wonder where our country would be right now if the election in Colorado had not been stolen. Do you have anything to say to that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think across the country, because I preserve the data, but there's 60 other counties, a little bit more, that did not. So, it's important that these companies, it's not just Dominion ES and any of them that have the Smartmatic guts inside of these machines. We've got to get more transparent. We have to know that these machines are set up to be hacked. We have to get rid of the registration, voter registration database. You can't sweep a dirt floor. You've got to just get rid of them. As Secretary of State, I ran on that. If people want to vote in this next election, they need to go into their clerk and recorder's office or their election official's office, show their ID, and register to vote every year or every 2 years, just like we do with registering our cars, which is not even as important as the person's vote. Because if someone is voting, if they are putting someone in to vote that's not eligible to vote, and the border, what's coming on with that, and if they're putting in people to vote, it dilutes your vote. And it makes your vote not count, which is against the Constitution. So, Ann, I appreciate your show and people like you that are getting the word out, and pray. This is a spiritual battle, as you know. This is evil at the highest level.
It is. Mike Lindell said it a long time ago. This would be the greatest revival for Jesus Christ. And I think we're seeing more and more people turn to God. And the demons who are behind what they're doing to you and the rest of us in America, like you said, pure voter disenfranchisement is exactly what it is. And the dilution that we see coming across the southern border is going to have deleterious impacts on the cities, starting with the cities, particularly when the banking collapse progresses to the point of debit cards being cut off, and these people getting $2,200 a month will no longer have money. They'll be looking for food, and they'll be coming to your doorstep. So Denver, Colorado, brace for impact. Those cities are vulnerable, and so are you. So you don't want to see your election stolen like this. Let the chips fall where they may. President Trump's talking about returning to one-day voting and paper ballots, hand counting. I'm all for it. I think this will end a lot of the nonsense if we can actually return to that. Tina Peters, we will continue to follow the progress. May God be with you, and thank you for standing up for America. It's bigger than Mesa County, that is for sure.
It's my duty and my honor, Ann. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will be right back with my closing remarks after just a couple of words from some of the sponsors, because we got to pay bills around here somehow. A lot of money goes out the door trying to support all these different streaming services I have to pay for. So just stick with us. I'll be right back with closing thoughts here.
My Towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
mypillow.com.
Hi, I'm Ann Vandersteel. I want to talk to you a little bit about your health. Part of my daily routine is to get up in the morning and get a little exercise on. If I have time for a mile or 7, doesn't matter. I get out the door every single day. It's important to get my body moving and get that oxygen flowing through my brains. What is also equally important is what I put in my body after I exercise. I rely on VandersteelHealth.com, where I have a delicious selection of superfoods and other supplements. But first and foremost for me are my superfoods. I have a delicious shake every single day. It is organic, all made in the United States of America, non-GMO, never processed before, dehydrated superfoods. And when they reconstitute with water, milk, or whatever juice you like, it makes a delicious, healthy, plant-based protein supplement. And I say supplement because, frankly, I use this as a meal replacement. This is what's helped me lose the last 20 pounds of COVID. I'm back down to my fighting college weight, fitting in my college clothes, and feeling better than ever. So go to VandersteelHealth.com and get your delicious superfoods. Get on the transformation program with us. It's a 30-day kickoff, and it will get your day starting out great. And watch the weight just fall off. Watch the energy increase, the brain fog lift, and of course the ancillary benefits in your hair, skin, and nails. All these things, you are what you eat. Remember that. Go to VandersteelHealth.com. Hey guys, Ann Vandersteel with Steel News. Just want to bring you up to speed real quick and why you should be thinking about getting your family protected and ready with communications. This is breaking right now. Zero Hedge is putting this article out right now about F-16 fighter jets now on their way to Ukraine. Actually, this is actually being reported by the White House, if you can believe it. This insanity continues out from the Biden regime like crazy, but we got to be prepared for what's coming. And, clearly they're doing everything they possibly can to get us into World War III. That's why it's critical right now that we're thinking about comms for our family and our friends. I want to give a big shout out to sat123.com. Tina Blanco and the team over there, fantastic. They actually provided a lot of the influencers with our own books, connecting us to everybody else with their sat phones, because we all have sat123 phones. We all use them. I take mine every single time I'm out of the country because I know it's reliable. I can't always depend on my cell phone, but the satellite phones will always work no matter where I am. I just need to be outside so that my antenna can get a sat phone signal. And again, if we lose power, I have backup power, which has been also, made readily available at sat123.com. So don't waste any time. We're inching closer to something that's going to happen, whether it's full-blown World War III, it's nuclear, I doubt, but they're going to do something. And just as a point of reference, Ecuador most recently cut off visas to the Chinese. And if you recall some of the reporting we've done with Operation Burning Edge, Ecuador actually was a big conduit. A lot of the Chinese were able to get visas to come right through Ecuador. Well, they cut it off. And what did the Chinese do? They cut the power because they control the grid. And wouldn't you know, Huawei is controlling probably 90% of our 911 grid here in the United States. So if we have any issues, they can cut the 911 grid. And we've seen 911 go down in Florida and Massachusetts recently. So they're already testing the system and God knows what else. So be prepared with your backup power supplies and backup communications. Go to sat123.com. Don't let yourself or your family down. And Vanderstill, check in with you later.
All the people that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist, you're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs, fuck you. War.
That's right. We are at war. If there was ever a time to batten down the hatches, it's right now. We've got cackling Kamala sitting in the big chair. God only knows what she's going to do next. I can assure you it's not going to be good. And I don't think she's going to be permanent. I don't even think she'll be running in the 2024 election. But for right now, she's a placeholder. My guess is it's Hillary Clinton that'll be stepping up with her man pants on to try and assume the position. And we're going to get another square off between Trump, Clinton. We'll see. Pretty terrifying. Benjamin Netanyahu coming into the country yesterday. Probably meeting with Blinken in Mayorkas. Doubt he was really spending much time with the vegetable that is deteriorating rapidly, considering that the cackling hyena has stepped into the Oval. What a travesty that America is witnessing right now, and we're having to live through. But again, I encourage everybody to don't be scared, be prepared, and stand with patriots like Tina Peters. Please, 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 if you go to her website, tinapeters.us, you can actually support her over there as well, or hit her up on X at Real Tina Peters. And she has links to her website there. Have a blessed evening, everybody. And we'll see you again next time for more on Steel News. Good night, everybody.